talk about electric vehicles. They are here to stay, whether they're hybrid or just all electric, but there is some growing concern about their safety, the battery safety to be exact. A problem everywhere that EVs are being used. So when can you see that you are doing everything you can to minimize a fire risk, and what is actually being done in the industry across the board?
Indeed. On Your Side's Ken Amaro spoke with the CEO of a company in the midst of the EV revolution.
Renewable energy is driving the transportation industry. Gas-powered vehicles are slowly being replaced with hybrids and all-electric. But automakers are still grappling with battery fire risk. Lithium batteries that can overheat and turn into this.
Lithium-ion batteries, which are the foundation of these EVs, are running on.
Michael Moe is CEO of Coolart Technology. Thermal management is its focus.
That they have an inherent building risk called thermal runaway.
Moe tells On Your Side thermal runaways contributing to a rash of electric car fires. Hyundai and BMW recently issued recalls on some models. Ford's new hybrid Escape is being delayed. And a few days ago, the government launched an investigation into complaints about GM's Chevy electric Bolts.
You know, we are at the early stages of this EV revolution, this renewable energy, revolution. And safety performance is a critical part of that.
He says his thermal management technology is being used by NASA on its Mars Rover 2020 program. Also, the FAA is using its testing technology to evaluate problems leading to passenger lithium battery malfunctions aboard aircrafts.
We're also working with electric car companies to deploying some of the Mars Rover technology and NASA technology into performance and safety of EVs.
If you own a hybrid or an all-electric vehicle, his message is don't panic. Follow the charging guidelines and keep your software updated. Moe says 2024 will bring more EV models into the market, and he believes batteries will be a lot safer. Ken Amaro, First Coast News, On Your Side.
Those will be important advances indeed. And if you'd like our On Your Side team to look into anything for you, send us an email to onyourside@firstcoastnews.com.